is the biggest mistake that we have made when we were moving and living abroad? That is the question that we're going to share with you in this video, because we don't want you to cut your living abroad adventure short for this very reason. But first of all, if you're new to this channel, I am Monico, and together with Matt, we share videos on moving and living abroad. We used to live in various countries before we decided to settle down in the Netherlands, but we have come to a point that we want to move again to another country, and this time as a family. So if you're thinking of moving and living abroad, please subscribe to our channel where you can find all kinds of practical information that will help you make the move to a new country. So back to the important question. What mistake did we make when we were living abroad? Remember, we should always learn from our mistakes. And now we are sure that when we make our move to a different country, we're definitely not going to make this mistake again. But I have to admit, I think that unconsciously, this mistake has limited us to pack our bags and move again. Because since we made this mistake, we have never spontaneously moved again, which is okay because we learned a valuable lesson that will prevent us ending up broke again. So the biggest mistake that we made is the cost of living abroad is much higher than we expected. It sounds very obvious, right? But believe me, when you come from the Netherlands and you have $25,000 in your savings account, and you decide to move, in this case, to Indonesia, where the average salary is around 800, and this is a very good salary, $800, then you would expect that with that amount of savings, you'll be fine for living a whole year in Indonesia. Matt and I decided to move to Indonesia because I had several job opportunities there, and Matt wanted to focus on creating an online business. We decided to move to a city called Bogor because I stayed there a lot during my studies and I knew the city well. At that time, we only had our backpacks. We didn't have any kids, no steady job, no house, no car, nothing that we could lose if it all went wrong. So all we had were our savings and the goal to live at least 1 year in Indonesia to see what happens. But we soon discovered that Indonesia is much more expensive than we expected. First of all, it was the housing. We had estimated to rent a house for $1,000 a year, which is very doable in Indonesia. But we soon discovered that owners always asked a minimum of 2 years. So for us, it took a long time to find a suitable place. The house hunting took about 1.5 months. And during this time, we could stay with families, but we also had to stay at hotels to make the search more efficient. However, this was of course an additional cost that we did not expect. Another thing that we realized during our house hunting period was that we were searching for a place that we felt attracted to. We did not realize that this was important when we were in the Netherlands, but when we were looking for places, we discovered that we were also searching for a place that felt like home. So it took us extra time to finally find a place that we loved and an owner who was flexible enough to change the contract from 2 years to 1 year. Of course, the rent was relatively higher than we expected, and at the end we paid $2,500 for a whole year. This is of course not much if you compare it with the rent that we paid in the Netherlands, which was around $600 for a room per month. So we were very happy with our new place, but we soon discovered that there were more costs appearing and that our savings were becoming smaller and smaller. The house was fully furnished. However, we had to buy sheets, towels, pillows, and all kinds of other household essentials. Once we had settled in, we soon realized that we needed a car, especially if you're living in a big city like Bogor. And yeah, we thought, okay, let's go and buy a second-hand car. It's probably like 2,000, 3,000 euros, like in the Netherlands. But we were so wrong. A second-hand car in Indonesia is at least at that time 9,000 US dollars. Luckily, we had the security that if we would sell the car again a year later, we could sell it for the same price. So with a little bit help of our family, we bought a car. At that time, internet was very new in the area, and to have internet at home was very expensive. However, we decided to have it. But unfortunately, the internet wasn't very stable. So many times we had to go to a coffee shop to use the internet there and, you know, sip coffee there for hours. So as you can imagine, this also added to the costs. Another cost that we never expected to have was dental care. When I was there, my wisdom teeth had to be pulled out. Of course, the whole procedure is much more cheaper than it would have been at home, but still, again, unexpected costs. Another thing that really hit our savings was arranging the visa to stay for longer periods of time in Indonesia. We would go to the immigration office in Jakarta a lot, but there were times that we had to leave the country to arrange a new visa. And this is called the visa run. And the visa run is that you leave the country, go to an embassy, the Indonesian embassy in, let's say, Singapore, and request a new visa. So we would go to Singapore for just 2 days. But the cost of going there, even if we searched for the earliest and cheapest flight and booked a really cheap hostel, was really high at the end. After living there for a couple of months, Matt had created a travel website about Bali as well. So for his website, we would travel to Bali a lot, stay in hostels and travel around. And of course, you could see it as an investment. And in the end, we did earn quite some money from this website. But at that time, the costs were a bit too high for our budget. Also, something that we would have never expected was the cost of eating out. Of course, you can eat in Indonesia for $1 and you could get like huge, delicious meals. But yeah, after some time, you also crave for other food, like international food, Italian or Japanese. So we would also end up in restaurants where the average prices was way higher. So as an expat, you need to be aware that your standard of living is much more expensive than the locals. So in the end, what did we learn from underestimating the cost of living abroad? That is, do your research on monthly cost properly before you go. You will always need more than you expect. With the successful travel website that Matt and I created when we were living in Indonesia, we were able to create a decent monthly income. So for our next move, we're going to focus on creating an online business that will generate passive income. So we won't have to go home because of financial reasons. We will soon share more on how we're going to do this in one of our next videos, or you can click on the link that we will add below this video. But for now, if you enjoyed this video and thought it was useful, please give us a thumbs up. You can subscribe to our channel, or you can comment below and share your ideas about this topic. So that's it for today. Hope to see you in our next videos, and bye bye for now.